Hello, my name is Miguel Magallon. Today I'm going to talk about the oleo strut. The reason why it's called an oleo strut is because it has oil, hydraulic oil, and compressed air or nitrogen. This right here is called a shimmy damper. What the shimmy damper does, it dampens the shimmy. When it starts shaking, it aligns it stops it from shaking, makes the ride smooth. This right here is the scissors or the torsion links. It makes the wheel align, makes it go straight. The wheel alignment basically, when the strut fully extends, as you can see, it holds it in place. Because if it wasn't for that, with the weight, once it's in the air or whatever, once it's landing, it'll make it's a big impact. What else? This is the cylinder and the piston. The piston goes inside of the cylinder. The cylinder is attached to the aircraft. And inside of the piston, I don't know if you guys can see this, but it has an orifice valve which restricts the fluid on one side. Restricts the fluid. It makes the fluid go on one side and it restricts the fluid on the other side. If that makes sense. That's pretty much it. So remember, guys, we have the shimmy damper. Dampens the shimmy, doesn't make it vibrate, smooth ride. We have the torsion links or the scissors, doesn't really matter, it's the same thing. And the piston and the cylinder. One last thing. If you ever see this in an airplane, the Cessna or whatever you're working, this is an indication that you need to service the strut because it has no hydraulic oil or nitrogen. It has to look something like this, that, but it can't be looking like this. It's a no-no. That's pretty much it. Thank you, guys.
Hi, I'm David Nils. Today I'll be talking to you guys about how to service the tires and the brakes on an oleo strut. So first off, usually when you're working on this type of thing, you want to make sure that the plane is on jacks and the tire isn't touching the ground. Next step would be to release any air that's in the tire still. This is to avoid any accidents or harm to company while you're servicing the tire. Once you're done with that, you want to go ahead and disconnect the brake cylinder, which would be this portion here, from the tire. And once that's complete, you can go ahead and start by removing the axle nut on the front end of the tire, which would be this portion here. After that's done, you can go ahead and take the tire off of the axle and remove the 3 bolts that are holding the rim and the tire together. Now, once you have the tire and the rim separated, you can go ahead and check over the tire for any cracks, abrasions, cuts, that sort of thing, or weathering. If you do find any of these things, you want to just go ahead and replace the tire altogether. You also want to check the rim portion for any corrosions, cracks, that sort of deal as well. Once that's done and everything's been checked out or replaced, you want to go ahead and put the rim assembly back together into the tire. And you're going to take those 3 bolts that you removed before and you're going to reinstall them and make sure that they're torqued per the maintenance manual. Next, you'll go ahead and connect it back onto the axle, reinstalling the nut and placing the brake cylinder back on if you'd like. During that time as well, you have an option to leave the brake line or just check that as well. So that pretty much sums up all that you need to do when you're checking the tire and the brakes. Thank you guys for your time. See you next time.
Hi guys, my name is Romeo Reyes and today I'll be talking about nitrogen and how to service it on an aircraft. Since we're not at the airport where we get equipped with a really cool van that normally gives you everything, I'm going to show you how we did it with this low pressure green tank. The way this tank works is you would want to set your PSI on the bottle gauge, and you would want to set the PSI that you're going to put into the aircraft, so pressure. So you turn this clockwise, you turn this counterclockwise, You get the PSI you want. I can't really control the PSI because I don't think there's enough nitrogen in here to be choosy or picky. But you're gonna set your bottle gauge PSI, and then once you have that, you're gonna turn this clockwise, and you're gonna set the PSI you want to come out of this gauge. Cool. So I'm just gonna close it again. Let out all the air. Cool. Alright, so now that we know how to service a nitrogen tank, we're gonna go to our aircraft and set our nitrogen tank to the appropriate PSI on the bottle gauge and make sure that it's per manual, and make sure that the pressure gauge going out is the correct amount. In our situation, I think it was a 200 or 300 PSI. And once we have that all set, we're gonna grab the adapter or the hose, plug it to an adapter, and we're gonna plug it into the filler plug. And we're gonna make sure the aircraft is off the jacks and all the pressures are on the landing gear, and no chrome should be showing at this moment. So when we apply nitrogen into the landing gear strut, you're gonna start seeing some chrome or the piston moving up, pushing the cylinder up, and our manual said 3 to 4 inches should be visible. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna fill it up, put it on, and we're gonna shake it a couple times just to make sure it's at the correct location, and that's it. That's how you service nitrogen.
Hi guys, my name is Avishal Prasad, and today I'll be teaching you guys about different types of hydraulic fluid. There are three most commonly used types of hydraulic fluids out there, which is mineral base, which is red, and synthetic base, which is purple, and then vegetable base, which is blue. Mineral base, the most commonly used hydraulic fluid is 5606, and it's been used in aircraft since the 1940s. The synthetic base, the most commonly used fluid is Skydrol, which is used in most modern aircrafts. And then vegetable base is mostly used in older aircrafts. Okay guys, so now that we know the different type of hydraulic fluids, we are going to service an oleo strut. When servicing the oleo strut, you have to take out the piston completely and remove all the hydraulic fluid that's in the cylinder. And once it's out, you would service and check all the O-rings and the seals for the piston to make sure that it doesn't leak when you put it back together. And then once the piston is serviced and put back together, you would put the plane back on the ground so all the weight is on the struts. And then once all the weight is on the struts, you would fill the hydraulic fluid from the top of the filler plug until you get to the top. And once it's filled, you would put the filler plug back on and then fill it up with nitrogen. And when filling up the nitrogen, you would fill it up until you start seeing some chrome. Once you start seeing some chrome, you will start measuring until you see about 3.5 to 4 inches of chrome, or what the maintenance manual says that it should be. And once you see enough chrome, you would shake the plane until you're sure that it's going to stay at that amount of chrome. And then once that is checked, and you are done servicing the oleo strut. Thank you for listening. See you next semester.